Good morning. Welcome to another Monday. We're starting off the week on a foggy note. It is December 5th, 2011. It is 8:19 a.m. and there is plenty of fog throughout the northern mid-Atlantic. So what's causing all this fog? Well, look at the temperature, look at your dew point. Temperatures and dew points are pretty close together. And what that usually means, what that always means, is that there is a lot of low-level moisture in the atmosphere. So you have a lot of low-level moisture, temperatures are down to condensation point, and thus you get fog, and rather dense fog at that, with many locations below a mile in visibility. It's having an impact on pretty much everyone from traveling on driving on the highways to just getting out of the area on a plane, which is always hard enough to begin with. But in this case, with this poor visibility, it's going to be very difficult to fly out as well, so you're getting a lot of delays there. A very ugly morning for travel. The good news is that we don't have any steady rain or any showers or anything of that nature. It is just pretty much cloudy and foggy, and that's pretty much what we're going to be dealing with throughout today. Now, the fog will start to lift around 10 a.m., and then thereafter we're just going to deal with overcast skies. But there is more to this weather story than just fog. Let's take a look at the surface map. You can see plenty of moisture along the East Coast, especially over the New Jersey coast and through the New York City metropolitan area and over Connecticut. And then we have these areas of low pressure. Now what we have here is a slow-moving cold front, almost a stationary front. And this cold front is going to play a major role in our weather pattern throughout this entire week. When we take a look at the infrared satellite picture, you can really get a gather of exactly what's happening here. I'm going to pull up the upper level winds here, and notice the upper level winds are parallel with the cold front. What that basically means is a cold front is going to move very slowly. Think of it like moving furniture. If you move furniture perpendicular to your furniture, and you're moving it to a certain location, it's obviously going to move faster. Because you're pushing it towards a location you want to move it to. However, if you push it at a diagonal angle or at a perpendicular angle, it's going to take a lot longer to move that dresser, let's just say, to the other side of the wall. So, as a result, it takes a lot more work. This is the same case. You have the upper level winds moving along the cold front, and that's going to mean that it's going to take longer for this cold front to move to the east. While all that is happening, we have these disturbances in the southern plain. In the southern plains and in the southwest. Why are these disturbances important? Well, you see, this cold front is eventually going to move to the east with scattered showers on tonight, late tonight, through tomorrow, with periods of moderate to heavy rain on Wednesday. And then that's when things get interesting, because this area low pressure and this disturbance is going to take a ride right up along this cold front right off the east coast, and there is a chance for some mixed precipitation and yes, even some snow Wednesday night into Thursday. How much? Well, I'm not getting too excited about this event just yet, but I'm going to explain why we need to keep an eye on this on the model guidance. So let's go take a look at the European model guidance. Here we are for today. Again, let's move this here. High pressure is moving off the coast. We're in a mild pattern right now, and I stress right now. Then tomorrow, that cold front inches towards us. The surface cold front reaches us by tomorrow evening. Notice that the cold air at the mid-levels is still hanging back here. But we have plenty of moisture at the mid-levels, which means we're going to have a threat for scattered showers. When we get to Wednesday night, now this is when things get really interesting. You see this disturbance right here? Well, it's going to ride to the northeast right along this cold front with this area low pressure. And notice on Wednesday evening that our cold air is pushing in. Now this is pretty much a matter of timing here. This pattern is not conducive for, let's say, a storm to explode off the New Jersey coast and stall out and move slowly, because this weather pattern is rather progressive. So what you need is perfect timing. You need perfect timing of the cold air moving into the northern mid-Atlantic. At the same time, this low pressure system is intensifying and is able to throw some moisture into the coastal plains, specifically the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area. If the timing is just right, you could end up with some snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. How much? Well, it could be maybe an inch. It could be more than 4 inches. The problem here is the timing. I don't like forecasting or hyping up major snowstorms with a pattern like this, because what you have here is a pattern that is progressive. Yes, cold air is building in, but there's nothing to slow the storm down in the Atlantic. And as a result, when you get a pattern like that, typically what you see setting up is an area of low pressure that develops off the mid-Atlantic coast, moves rapidly to the northeast, and rain changes over to a few snow showers, and then that's about it. Not a big deal. However, if the timing is just right, you could end up with quite a bit more in a nice little surprise snowstorm. This is a type of weather pattern that you could see pretty frequently in La Nina years, especially east-based La Nina years. This is not a slam dunk. This is not a certain snowstorm threat, but it is something to keep an eye on, especially if you're traveling on Thursday morning. Roads could be a bit slick at the very least, especially with wet roadways and temperatures falling below freezing. That alone will create black ice, so you have to keep an eye on that. But overall, this is the type of setup that we're going to keep an eye on and see how well the models handle this disturbance. It's a subtropical disturbance, and what that basically means is that it's coming from the South Pacific here. And when that happens, the models don't typically handle those disturbances very well. So like I said, something to keep an eye on, especially late Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But for right now, I'm only forecasting scattered snow showers with a minor accumulation possible on like cold surfaces like road car tops and maybe some grassy surfaces, with your best possibility to the northwest around northwest New Jersey. The Poconos possibly could see a few snow showers out of this. This is not a major threat yet, but it's something to keep an eye on. Thereafter, our polar vortex starts to drop a little bit further south, and as a result, we get pretty chilly. And that whole idea, by the way, that winter is not coming, it's going to remain pretty cold, pretty warm, well, it's not very well supported in the model guidance now, is it, for this weekend? Finally, one last point. By the end of the forecast period, why don't I like this? Well, for one, it's not supported by the ensemble model guidance. It's significantly colder, actually, on the ensemble model guidance. But also, this feature right here. You can't have two upper-level lows this close in proximity. Something's got to give here. I think this is going to be a little bit further south. This is going to be a little bit further to the east. And you end up with almost a true negative NAO pattern with a deeper polar vortex further south towards the southern portions of the Hudson Bay. That's kind of what the ensemble model guidance is showing. So look for Sunday to be colder than what's being forecasted right now in the model guidance. That is pretty much your forecast discussion for this Monday, December 5th, 2011. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino, and you can always follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a great day. Stay safe out there.